Hi everyone, good evening. Today is November 1. Welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Teachings. So guys, today was all about AMD. We'll talk about 500% winner on AMD, how we held AMD all day. All day AMD, how everyone in community held it till we met our targets and also swinging some lotos. We'll talk about our NVDA Long win. We'll talk about our second day plays on ANET, our A plus setup, SRPT swing paying us big. We'll talk about the PAYC morning idea. We'll talk about how TGTX did not work. Especially we'll discuss FSLR, how we turned a long loser into a short winner. We'll talk about the chop and the scratch on Boeing, BA, and we'll talk about Meta, W, and we'll talk about the pins, why it did not break out today. So there's a lot of talk about it today, guys, but the most important concept, which is the simplest concept that I've been teaching from years, the psychological numbers. And the psychological numbers gave us such a huge win today on AMD. And so same psychological number that's working on Meta from 300, same psychological number from NVIDIA 400, same psychological number from Tesla 200. So I have talked about these psychological numbers again and again and again over the years. So definitely check it out. By the way, guys, if you want to know more about me, my story over the years, Financial Press did a nice article on me today. I will post it in the description for you guys. You guys can take a read. Tells more in detail about me. So yeah. Anyways, guys, let's start with our recap. So as always, guys, our watch list was ready this morning. As you can see, I am up 45 minutes before the market open. I go through all the news, go through bunch of news sources, analyst upgrades, analyst downgrades, all day. You see here, and what is the macro. Today was FOMC. We knew what other macro events are there, so we make a plan. Everything we make a plan. I go live in the pre-market with my charts. We do a wake-up summary, try to understand what's happening in the world over, in the stock market, the macro, the politics, geopolitics, and everything. And then we make our levels. I spend 15-20 minutes creating levels for everything. If you see here, today's levels, especially on things like Microsoft and Apple, once the resistance pivots were broken, they ran all day. So that's why levels are very important. I create these levels for members of my community. They take it and they trade on their own. We do not do buy and sell alerts. We teach people how to trade consistently, a fixed routine every day. So these are the levels, guys. You can take a screenshot. You can go, do your homework, see how they moved, how they behaved. Mostly these levels work out pretty well for risk management and trade ideas, and you can check it out. We're pretty good today as well. So we started our day with our watch list, which was ready. We started our day. So we played AMD today, PAYC, Boeing, FSLR, EL. Those were ones we played from the news plays, and then we also played W, which I will show. Why the setup did not trigger, but we were watching it. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about our main play, AMD, then NVIDIA, big win. I'll talk about the Tesla guidance as well. So this was the plan. So what was the plan today? Plan was to have a bullish bias if VIX breaks 18, stays under 18, and that's what happened. VIX broke 18, all day trend. Initially all day trend. We talk about that, and then when Powell came up, how the market held, my Ripster EMA clouds, and then we'll talk about this breakout. We'll discuss that as well. But this was the plan. We are ready with the plan. We have a plan for AMD. So we'll discuss all that. Let's start with our first big play, AMD. So guys, for AMD, the plan was simple. The plan was simple because we were going to trade AMD against 100. So that was my plan. Our bias was clear. We had a pre-market plan. I shared the pre-market plan with everybody. Our plan was simple, that if AMD pushes over 100, we will trade it. And we saw this downtrend channel. We knew about this channel. We knew if this channel breaks out of 100, it will push. So what did we do? So as soon as the market opened, as soon AMD pushed over the 100 level, we were long, and all day I was guiding. If you can see my live commentary here, you see we were right at open, AMD versus 100, watch pullbacks, 102 was next target, right in first 3 minutes. That's what I was talking about. And I was still talking about to take some off into 102 because that's what we do. We take our first profits into 10 a.m. Then we take our next profits later after 10. We reposition ourselves. So anyways, all day guidance was there. 101 was our level to break, and then we were looking for higher lows, and we were looking for 102 break, and then we were looking for a push into 10 a.m. So I was continuously giving my targets. My first target was 103, which came, and our 100 calls hit 100%. And then my next target later in the day was 104, and from 104 my next target was 105. My final target was 108. As you can clearly see here, my 108 was my final target, and I did say that there's no reason to cut this position. Look what I'm saying. Never broke 512 EMA, no reason to cut. So that was the reasoning on AMD. Because if you look, AMD, so first push, right? So we long first push into 10 a.m. What happened at 10 a.m.? Flagging, higher lows, higher lows. You add starters. Once you are profitable, you can add into this 10 a.m. flag breakout, and then next leg. Then after that, next leg broke out, we pushed into 106, and then it started to consolidate at various levels. But still we had no reason to cut. It was still holding pretty nicely. It was holding. It did not completely break under these lows or 512s. It kept holding, and then finally hit our final target at 108. And beautiful trade for the whole community. We were already green so much at 10 a.m. but then we held it all day for a big win. It's a repeatable, simple concept. And as you see from my comments, all day I was just talking about it, that we need to hold, we will meet our target. And initially it wet my 108 target to exact point. And that's how you make big money. You hold there was no reason to cut it, you hold it. So that was trade on AMD, guys. You can see my daily level conviction, my daily charts. You can see my guidance all day. So so this is what you have to repeat. Very simple concept. EMA clouds, 100 levels, that's all about it. So yeah, here you can see how we traded it all day on AMD. All right, let's go to our next play. So as soon as market opened, I said NVDA Long. Why did I say NVDA Long? And also mentioned in pre-market that for NVIDIA, we will use 405 level as our risk to long NVIDIA. Why is that? What was the reasoning behind me saying that? The reasoning was NVIDIA was over EMA clouds. And let's look at the daily chart. You have to focus on your daily charts. That's why I look at my daily charts. Daily chart yesterday on NVIDIA made an hammer, right? Other point, psychological level 400, guys. It tried to break 400 yesterday, but it did not break. Everyone, we traded it short. If you remember yesterday's video, we traded it short, and I even tweeted about it, that this hammer is very notable, and that's what gave me conviction. I even mentioned here, which I will show you. So as you see, I said versus 405, long watch pullbacks, NVIDIA both strong, AMD earnings was giving us a little bit more conviction, right? And my first target was 415. Oh, here, you see, I say it's a nice hammer candle. That's why I like it. That's why my high conviction. It was actually trading much better than AMD in the morning, right? So my main two targets today was 415 and 420. And we took our initial profits at 10 a.m. but it did not break 512. So you scale back in, and then you wait for your next target. So next target was 420. All targets met on NVIDIA, 420. So here you see 415 next target, hold it, decent profit. Then I even talked about how it's holding 512 trend. Then I said hold more for 420. Hammer never fails. 415 calls went 100%, and we met our target 420. And then it was pulling back. Later in the day. I took all profit out, but you can clearly see how it was bouncing off Ripster EMA clouds, and now it's even gapping up. That's fine. I have AMD overnight, so that's good enough. But the point is, the big winner with high conviction, A+ setups, with full confidence. You know, this trade was with full confidence. That's why I said long right at open. So let's go to our next trade. So ANET. So that if you watched my yesterday's video, I discussed, I said this is an A plus setup and we can see a continuation breakout tomorrow. And look what happened today. And today as well, right before the pre-market open, I said this is a day two earnings setups that we discussed. I discussed these setups in my webinars in the community, so most of them know what I'm talking about. So we watched the morning pullbacks and pushed over yesterday highs. Overnight swing, breakout should see higher today. Breakout should see higher today, and it's breakout over 210. 210 was my first target, and we met our first target of 210 later in the day, and then it's still hitting at 212 later in the day. So beautiful trade, still holding the swing, and a good day trade as well. As you see, all it was, it held EMA Cloud and it bounced off the EMA Cloud and it pushed to 211. Very nice high confidence A plus trade on ANET. Let's look at our another idea that we discussed yesterday as well, and today, SRPT. That was an overnight idea because of this gap down. This gap down, I discussed it in yesterday's video as well. So our entry was at 60 bucks and it's already hit 80 and 78. So beautiful overnight idea because of this big gap, held the EMA Cloud, had some bio conviction, did some research yesterday. So really proud of this one as well. So let's discuss this PAYC. So let's see what was our plan and what happened. So PAYC was gapping down over it was gapping down from 240 to all the way to 150. So that it was $100 gap down. You know, it was a big huge gap. That does not mean that it can't go lower. Well, it can if it was all about 150 today. So what was the plan? Overall, I was bearish, but I did say maybe a B minus bounce towards 160 at open. So we will decide accordingly. Big extension. And then right at open, so I was seeing it was holding this pre-market level. So it was holding that pre-market level and it pushed, right? So it pushed, and I said you can scalp versus that 150 risk, either risk the 150 or you risk 147. And I was expecting it to push to 160 because that's where 10-minute EMA clouds were, and we were close, right? So we were close, if you see. So in first 10 minutes, it pushed all the way to 159 from open 150. It pulled all the way to 159. So that was like a decent move. Nothing, because you can't size crazy on these plays. Definitely was not an option play. It was a share play, right? You add 500 shares, you risk $1,000, and then you know, even if you added at 151s and you sold in the morning at 156 or 157s, that was still making $2,000. You know, when you're risking $1,000, that's a decent risk reward. And then it was definitely close to the target into over 10 a.m. and that's what I said. If you want to swing, you should have 150 or 147 as your stops. And but as expected, it never really got over 3450, right? So it was always a B minus bounce. It was never an B plus bounce. So after that, you know, was ignored the first push there, and then you just you do 10 a.m. and you don't see strength, you leave it alone. Or if you are just want to swing it, I'm not swinging it, by the way, but I was, you know, that was just the guidance. But this was there was other setups better than this, so it was not worth chasing it much more. After it hit towards 160, and then it comes back towards your break even. You get out there, or you just, you know, get out there. It gave a couple of chances to get out though. So yeah, so that was like a, you know, nothing special about this play. Neither a loss, neither a winner, although it was a good scalp there at open. So that was PAYC. So Mitch was another one on the watch list, which was bearish bias on the breakdown of that 3120, and it was already breaking down out of the level pre-market, and then when market opened it just broke down, and then I said short the bounces, but it never really gave a good entry. But still, if you see from the market open, or even if you waited some bounce, to this 30-20s and risking this 31s, risking 80 cents, because this is pre-market support, it still faded from 30-20s to $28, right? So there was a still decent $2 short, risking 80 cents. So one risk to 2.5 reward or something like that. So this was another good idea, but we were having so many other good trades, so we didn't really need to size in this one. But definitely another setup which worked today. So First Solar. So let's talk about First Solar. So First Solar initially became a loser for us because I went long at open, and then it gave up. It gave up that support of this pre-market EMA Cloud support of 146.90 area, right? So you can see it's a gap. So I clearly said bullish if that 150 holds, bearish if 146.90, and as soon as it's cut, I had taken an entry, actually had a higher entry over 148, but as soon as it broke down, I saw that candle, I was out right away. I took a loss quickly, $2 loss, and I said cut long, watch bounce for short. And then after we shorted it, the First Solar faded to 139. So we almost got $6 short, $2 loss, and $6 gain, right? So that's why you have to change bias. So this was our First Solar trade today. Loser turned to winner. All right, let's talk about next one, Boeing. So we were long Boeing right at open. So I was long Boeing right at open. My levels that I had given in my level sheet on the Boeing was 187.40. So 187 was the support level that I was giving. So that's where I was going to hold it, right? So I had actually early entry, always a starter entry 1/3. I tried to average down as well. I wanted to see 188 hold, and it started to recover. I mean, average was still high over average was still high over 189s, and try to lower it, but it started to recover, and it did push towards 190.50, and then as it breaks 512, I was tired of it, and then I cut it later in the day. I think I will end up losing, including the commissions, but it was a scratch play. If you see, I was long at open. I said 188 needs to hold, 191 was my next target, and when it was doing this, I said it's frustrating, I will bail if it keeps doing it, and when it failed here, I bailed. I could have had a profitable trade if I averaged down more here, but I did not, so I just decided to bail on that. So that was a small loser there. So L was another one that was our bearish bias today. So the point for L was to short under the pre-market lows, and the target was 100, right? Psychological level. So I said bearish bias to short. If it holds that level, then will be a B minus bounce. But it was heavy right out of the gate, and I said short, right? And I said short it, and we should target to the target to 100. But it did still fade. If you see, it still faded from 106 area to 102, and then the market bounce, it started to recover, and once it started recovering, because I only closed a little bit at 102s, so I said here they are holding 102s, look to cover, holding 102s, look to cover, and then when it started to bounce there, and that's when you cover, and then you just get out. You look at this big swipe, and that's when you get out, and you just leave this trade alone. But anyways, the setup was good, almost hit close to the target, but didn't really pay us much there because it bounced right back, unless of course you covered good there. So yes, so good setup. It was all about a good entry for, yeah. All right, let's move to the next one. So here's Meta. So my level was 300. I was interested in Meta because risking that 300, and that's why I was saying nice 300 Psych long, and that's why I said at the open. And then Meta was pushing all day, and I said it's good to hold even at 1021. I said good to hold, and then later it pushed to 308s from our morning when I was talking about it, for morning 303s, 304s, you know, risking the EMA clouds, and then there was a pre-market support at 299. Of course, we would not have held till that, but it was a decent risk using the EMA clouds, and they did push. Since I talked about it, did push. It was a decent trade. Look at this bounce. Look at this bounce on EMA clouds after Powell speaks. So Meta was another great idea today. So let's look at next one, W. So W did not work today, even because it tried to push, then it failed the EMA cloud. So I tried to do a starter to see if 40 breaks. And then when the 40 did not break, then I had to take off because it reclaimed 42. So when it reclaimed 42, that was the warning to get out. So I took a loss today, but it was a starter because I clearly said gap fill under is 40. So if 40 never gave up, they never triggered the gap fill. So you took a loss, you move on. So that was W. So remember what I say, you have to respect the levels, right? Although it's flushing down, but the 40 level never gave up, never gave up. So there was a loop. So let's quickly look at pins. So I was looking for a breakout on the pins today at 130 and did not came, so no trade. So no trade because 30 did not break. Now 30 is breaking. Now, you know, I didn't even notice that it in the end it was got over EMA clouds and it was pushing. It will be interesting tomorrow. You know, we watch this pullbacks to this area and then we can try to long here. So that is very interesting. I didn't even know it till now. But anyways, the pins plan was long, but never really gave us. I was like only if 30 breaks out, never really gave us 30 breakout. There was some fake out, but I was not entering there because that was not convincing. So that was pins, guys. Let's look at our SPY QQQ all day guidance. So SPY, guys, most of it was today in the morning, and then we were waiting on FOMC. So if you see, I will show you something here. So in the morning there was a flag breakout, right? I called this flag breakout long on SPY, and you could see it pushed, right? So not going to go into detail, but it was uptrending. It was over pre-market highs. It was over yesterday highs, and then there was a flag breakout, right? So this flag breakout, as I said, right? And then I warned that it's breaking 512 and it will pull to 3450, and that's what happened. Pull to 3450. Overall, it was bullish because our plan was to short under 18, sorry, wicks under 18, and we long SPY, and the plan worked flawlessly. I mean, if you were trading SPY today was the day, and you would have made good money on this trend till half of the day before Powell, and you reposition yourself after Powell. After Powell, I did try to long it tried to push, and then when it was wick doing this, I stepped out. I did not even touch it, but I want to show you something here. I set up some price alerts for the community. Look here. So I'll show you, let me show you if I can find those price alerts for everyone. So I'll show you when FOMC came out. So here are my price alerts. Let's see. Give me a second here. Yeah, so as you see, so QQQ was breaking out right here. The price alerts came in. SPY was breaking out. QQQ was breaking out of this breakout, HOD breakout, and then it bounced from 3450. So you either, when you see the breakout, you risk 419. So 419 was the level that I was giving everybody. So you see 419. So 419, I stepped away because I tried once and I was not interested. But for the community, I was guiding them that 419. It held 419. This breakout alert came in on the community price alerts APIs. Then this breakout price alert came in, and then the push, right? So I was in ANET, I was in AMD, you know, trading those names, Meta. So I was already doing good on this bounce, so I didn't have to trade it. But I just want to show you how the FOMC action held this level and how our technical system gave us a risk to trade that. So guys, so that was SPY QQQ guidance today. Today I think was pretty flawless. I'm very proud of today's execution. just a small tiny losses. Otherwise it was a huge day. Spike, you know, I think it's one of my best days in, you know, long time. So really really good for today. And so we'll position size, we'll see how the swing market is doing, and we will figure more out as we go forward. Apple earnings is tomorrow, will be big, and we'll decide after that what we need to do, and then we'll maybe do some swing sessions as well. So all right guys, see you all tomorrow. I wanted to talk about some earnings, but we'll just do some other session on the webinar on the earnings. All right guys, good luck, see you tomorrow, bye.